Hey, fellow film fans, England Teen here with Dalton, the Authenticator.
Hi, kids.
Okay, now you're all messed up. It's how it's done. You screw up, you go back to one, you start over again. Okay, I'm also here with Twiddles. He'll be chiming in occasionally, as well as Dalton. We're going to be catching up to the films we didn't review, and by we I mean me. I see far more movies than Dalton here, and
yeah, I'm more selective about my choices.
And I just watch whatever the hell says 2023. And we're going to start with March. And well, we started with January. We are now doing March. And March 3rd, the first film that popped up for us all to enjoy and to love. And I don't know if it worked for me or not, but it's Creed 3. Did you manage to see this one?
I did, mostly because my mom's favorite franchise is the Rocky movies, mostly because she has a thing for Sly Stallone. It must be said. But yeah, so I have seen this.
And a half-naked, sweating Michael B. Jordan didn't do it for you, or?
I mean, he's okay. I didn't find him all that attractive, but
Going to see this movie, it was like a chore. Yeah, I was just, okay, I'm done. I don't want to watch another Creed movie. So I sit down, the movie comes on, and I am thoroughly entertained by it. It's just a lot of fun. This happens every damn time. I don't want to watch Rocky.
They are the very definition of a popcorn movie. It's like,
it's so freaking easy to watch, and it's so good when you watch them. This is the Rocky franchise from top to bottom to me. And this fits right in with that. And this is Rocky 3. Kind of mixed in with Rocky 5. That's what Creed has been doing. It's been taking old Rocky films, refiguring the scripts and putting them out there. And this is Rocky 3.
I mean 2 brought back Ivan Drago, so yeah, why not?
And I think they handled that pretty well. You know, I really do. Jonathan Majors, we all know he can act. I think it's dumb if Marvel drops him. I think he did a great job. He was not as intimidating as Mr. T, but
that's because who on earth is this is intimidating?
Yes, I know, right? Rocky 3, Mr. T looked like a freaking monster. He really did. And the fact that he's only as tall as Sylvester Stallone, neither one are like tall, big, but it just looked like, okay, this guy's unstoppable. He's in Jonathan Majors. I think he brought it. I think he made it as well. Once again, not as intimidating as Mr. T, but he definitely added his own flair. The story, everything, it's very basic. If you've seen one Rocky film, I really do believe you've seen them all, basically, except for the first one, maybe Rocky 2.
Circumstances require that the erstwhile champion is the underdog yet again, so we have the rebuilding of things, you know, and so on and so forth. And it's a long shot every single time, even though we know it's not, and
but
you know,
the weird thing
rinse and repeat forever.
The weird thing is, this is a thoroughly entertaining film. I ended up giving it a B+. How about you?
I give it a B. I'm not as big into like sports movies. But like I said, I was raised to appreciate the Rocky movies just because my mom has a thing for Sly Stallone.
Okay. And since we brought it up, let me remind everybody that F's, F-, F+, those are degrees of horrible. The D's are degrees of bad. C's are degrees of average. B's are degrees of good. And of course, A's being degrees of excellent. And I want to bring that up because of the next film, also released on March 3rd, was Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. I don't know if I said that properly. Probably didn't. This is a Guy Ritchie film. And it's a heist film. And holy crap, this movie was so effing good. Everybody played their part. Since when did Hugh Grant become the elderly statesman actor? I swear, even a movie we're going to talk about a little bit later that you didn't like, he adds a touch of class to every gosh darn time. In this one, he plays a mob boss. And they need to steal something from him. and then they need to go back to him for his help after they steal something from him. Oops, spoilers. Sorry, guys. Aubrey Plaza is somebody I can watch read the freaking phone book, because I'm sure she's, one, going to do it funny, and two, be sexy while doing it. That's just an Aubrey Plaza thing right there. And of course, Statham here, he adds a lot of action to it. We also have Josh Hartnett in this film, and he's the bumbling actor who's hired to kind of be con man. It's
so basically everybody is playing to their strengths, including Guy Ritchie. So yeah.
Absolutely. I know this is not exactly out of Guy Ritchie's wheelhouse. This is right there. And the thing is this is so much fun, Dalton. This is just a good time to be had in every which way.
I didn't see it, but I believe you, because I saw this and went, "Who's directing this? Guy Ritchie. Oh, it'll be good."
Yeah,
by virtue of it's Guy Ritchie doing a actiony, semi-intellectual heist movie that's also somewhat comedic. What could possibly go wrong?
And
especially with the cast. So
there's a scene at the end where Hugh Grant gets to be badass, and it's a hell yeah moment. It really is. I had a lot of fun with this one. I mean, I had a lot of fun, and I gotta say, you're gonna see a few of these this month. March is a great month for movies, in my opinion, and this is the first, I think, of the year. But this is an A-. I'm putting this in that level of greatness. This one has been remembered, and this one has been enjoyed, and I would actually buy this one, but I give it an A-. I had such a great freaking time with this one, Dalton.
Yeah, I might actually have to. I always did intend to eventually get around to it, because again, Guy Ritchie heist movie starring Hugh Grant and various others. So like, what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm glad it is as good and as playing the type as you'd expect.
But anytime you reach a high, you're going to be reaching a low. And this brings up our next movie, also released on the 3rd of March. Dude, did you manage to see this piece of crap?
The Children of the Corn remake?
They remade Children of the Corn, and they gender swapped the big bad. Instead of the little boy in the Amish hat, they've got the little girl here. Were you lucky enough to have seen this? And by lucky, I mean, did you escape it?
I sort of knew what I was going to be getting, so I avoided it like the frickin' plague.
Yeah.
And none of the reviews I saw for it dissuaded me of any of my preconceived notions of it. Like I know it's bad form to have preconceived notions, but at the same time,
well, Gail
did
loves
anyone have any high hopes for this?
Gail loves horror, so we watched it. We watched it, and I gotta tell you, man, there were so many times where there's like a few adults. Now, if they shown the adults being afraid to hit a child, okay, that's one thing. But they don't raise their hands to the children. But I'm sorry, I don't care how old you are. If you're coming at me with a scythe, or if you're coming at me with a big old knife or a rake, I'm putting your ass down. Okay, if you, I'll probably knock you out the first time, and if I see you pick up a knife and come at me the next time, it's over for you. You know?
And of course, creepy supernatural shenanigans. But if no one even if no one even tried to treat them like normal children first, then that's not how you do it. You do it like they try to treat them like normal children, and then supernatural shenanigans ensue. But
it also there are some things that were okay. Like I did like the design of He Who Walks Behind the Rose a little bit better. This is based on an 8-page Stephen King story, so they've got to fill in a lot of time. Yeah, and there were some scenes that worked, but what I think both this one and the last two remakes forget to do is to show how these kids became affected by He Who Walks Behind the Rose. They don't show it. So it's like, wait, why are you okay with slaughtering your parents? You got to get a little bit more into the psyche of this one. That's got to be the middle part to show how it becomes an occult. This, I got to admit, as much as I did not like this film, there were some things I thought saved it from being horrible. And
Okay, that's interesting.
One of them was that after there were some violence and after there were some murders, there was a big old town hall that the kids were listening in on. And I thought, okay, see, that adds to it. That's a little bit character. That's a little bit showing why these people are or why the kids are the way they are.
Trying to do something other than just we're remaking Children of the Corn.
Yeah. And that's why this one, I'm giving it a D, a flat right there. It's not a good movie. It doesn't deserve horribleness. It doesn't deserve greatness. It doesn't even deserve averageness. But there you go.
Yeah. I kind of knew that was exactly what I would be getting. That's why I didn't see it. I don't have any incentive to see it now.
Yeah.
Not that I was expecting one.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think you may have seen this next one. And this was released on March 10th, along with one of the bigger movies of the year. But this one is called 65. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, well, I'll let you start off then. What did you think of 65 millions years ago?
This was so ungodly stupid.
Okay, okay.
Because it's another case of they knew what they had probably didn't work, considering that they sold a completely different movie in the trailer. And instead of it being a sort of pseudo ancient aliens thing, but with, you know, humanity comes from the stars, like we were expecting, there's time travel shenanigans. And is it the far flung future? Is it the past? Who fucking knows? And
I don't think it's time travel. I just think this is an alien race way back in the past. But you're right. They sold it as this is how man is
man descended from the stars, perhaps from another planet, and so on and so forth. But no, that's not what we're getting.
This movie is all set up that there's a big reveal at the end where you find out it's Earth. And you could tell this was studio notes or whatever, because they have right at the beginning, this is Earth. Millions of years ago, 65 million years ago. It's like, why would you do that? It's like handing a wrapped birthday present to somebody and go, it's mittens. You know, no, you don't tell them what's in the box. They told us what was in the box. Otherwise, what you get is Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I either don't reveal the twist and have it be somewhat atmospheric, or play it somewhat straighter and don't treat it like a twist.
Yeah. There were some good action scenes. This isn't a horrible film. It's not a great film. I thought it was entertaining. It's just, this should have been a lot better. And the one way they could have made this a lot better is not to have revealed the twist at the beginning of the movie. It's just,
or find a better twist.
Yeah, or find a better twist. Otherwise, everything looked good. The action scenes were shot well. It just seems to be this. It didn't come together. What do you give this one? What grade do you give this one?
I give it a solid C, and that's about as nice as I'm gonna be to it.
Guess what? For the first time since we started talking about movies, you and I absolutely agree. That's exactly what I gave it. It's a C. It's an average film. It's entertaining, but it's just I
defy you to remember it the week after you watch it.
Oh, and I'm going to get to one of those movies as well. Yeah, it just, no, it just didn't do it. Didn't do it for me. I might go back to it because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I want to check it out, but we'll see. We will see. The next one up is the one that this one got released next to, and let me see if I can't find that particular poster since I've been doing this. Apparently I cannot. There we go. All right, we got Scream 6. Hey guys, it's us. We got Scream 6. Gail loves horror films. I watch so many people die bloody every year. It's ridiculous. But she loves horror films. She particularly likes How to Kill Your Husband films. It is what it is.
And then Eglantine steps slowly away from his wife, wondering where the hell he got that idea from.
I got to admit, the idea of Ghostface in New York got me so intrigued the same way that Jason in New York got me intrigued. And both of them ripped the rug right out from under me. Jason took place on a boat, and this takes place in a warehouse. You know, it's not really taking advantage.
Jason on a boat on the way to Manhattan, and also we're not giving you the Manhattan movie we promised.
The scene in the shop was so freaking awesome that you see in the previews. And I thought that would be awesome. That would be great if there's kind of like a big old chase around New York, or what you always say this, you find out, or you get a hold of what you think the movie's going to be. And when it's not that, you kind of disappointed. This kind of told us that it was almost going to be like a cult in the previews. Like there's a whole bunch of Ghostface, like Ghostface network, maybe across New York, that these kids need to get away from. Unfortunately, it wasn't that. I'm watching this film unfold. Gail's enjoying it, and I'm like, what it ended up being to me was something about, it's called the economy of characters. Okay, and with all the Scream movies, they'll have the basic. This is the team right here, and anybody outside of that team is going to be Ghostface. So as they're knocking off everybody that's not in that team, it's going to be the one that's left over, the two that's left over. And that's what I watch. So I'm watching and I'm going, no, it's the cop. It's the cop. The cop, and probably one of the kids, they're his kids. They're probably related to somebody who got killed. It's the cop. Okay. And I said that out loud to my wife, and she said, shut up, because she hates it when I figure out mysteries and
prognosticate the movie.
Yeah. Overall, I wasn't happy with this one. I just wasn't happy with this one. I like the Scream series. I like what's her name, Jenna Ramone. I don't know her name. They're fine. It's just, no, this one didn't do it for me. Did you?
The movie doesn't need to exist. Is the problem?
It really isn't.
There's no additional. There's nothing added to the lore. There's nothing added to Ghostface as a character or as an archetype of characters. It reminds me of some of the later Final Destination movies where it's like they start breaking the rules and they start making up their own rules, and it's like, why bother then?
Yeah, if you're not going to follow your own rules, don't freaking do the thing here. Overall, I give it a C-. I have no desire to go back to see it. I don't, in all honesty, I feel the same thing about 5. I just, okay, I saw it. All right, there you go. But this one, do something with the franchise now. It's time to change something.
I'm right there with you, because I did eventually see this. I didn't see it when it came out. I saw it later, but it's useless.
Okay,
D-.
It's just one of those that we should have talked about. In all honesty, it's one of my favorite films of the year, and unfortunately, it bombed like the Enola Gay, and it is Shazam: The Fury of the Gods. I had a great time with this. I can see the flaws in the cloth, but ultimately, this is a good time. Fun is so big to me this year, right? If you can entertain me, if you can make me just. Don't bring up politics. Don't bring up
because it's rare. It's rare that a movie is just fun now.
And this one was absolutely that. Is it perfect? No, but you know what? It's a good time to be had. We should do an hour long just on this about why we like it, because so many people are slamming this movie.
It's a good movie, and I like the Greek mythological aspects, and I like the character dynamics. I don't know why it didn't click with people. Like, maybe it's not as flawless as the first, or maybe it's not as tight as the first one, but that's not a cardinal sin of the movie. Like, it's a perfectly serviceable sequel. There are many worse sequels out there.
We will do a longer review of this My grade for this one, though, I put in the A's. I gave it an A-.
I give it B.
The next one was released to Hulu. And I got to tell you, it used to be, I never, if it went to TV, I didn't count it. But I mean, you know, 'tis the season, right? This one is, what's her name? Keira Knightley from the Pirates Penzance, not Pirates Penzance, Pirates Caribbean. And she was in this film called The Boston Strangler about a woman who worked in a newspaper who noticed that these killings were connected. And so she's trying to get things on the Boston Strangler, find out who he is, and so forth and so on.
I didn't see this one. I think I got trailers for it on occasion when I was watching Hulu, but I don't think I ever watched it.
Yeah, that's the way it is sometimes with Hulu. Like they'll push their new thing, and then after it's out, they'll forget it ever existed. This is absolutely serviceable. My wife likes true crime stuff like this, so that means I watch true crime stuff like this. This one, however, caught my eye, and my wife didn't watch it. I did. And once again, Keira Knightley's fine. It's kind of cool watching them gather all the evidence. And I did learn a few things, like they think they may have gotten the wrong guy for the Boston Strangler. I didn't know that. So there is some good things here, and it is definitely, it's worth the time. Yeah, if you got Hulu already, you're not going to spend the money. It's worth the time to watch it. It's not.
If you've got Hulu, though, watch the 2020 or 2022 Hellraiser first. It's a better movie.
That is if you want a horror film, absolutely. I give this one a B-. Have you ever wanted to see a movie so bad, and then it comes out, or in this case for me, it came out on, I believe, Peacock. It's streaming on, and the premise just seems so fun to me, so good. And then when you see it, it's like, oh no. This is a movie called Inside. So this is about an art thief, excuse me, who is doing a big get, and when the alarm goes off, the apartment he's in goes on lockdown. Nobody's home. Nobody's going to be home because they're on vacation. This goes on lockdown, and he starts screwing things up. Like the first thing he does, he tries to get out, and he gets mad, and he hits this machine, and it happens to control the air. And when he hit it, he turned on the heat. So it's like, so not only is he trapped in this building, but the temperature continues to rise. Getting over 100 degrees. He
literally in the hot seat.
Yeah, there is a pool. There's the water's off because the family's going to be away for months. You know, this was supposed to be an easy grab because nobody's going to be there. You have all the time in the world to steal everything you need, and because of that, he's got very limited food, very limited water, and it's just him trying to deal with the isolation of being trapped in this apartment. And I thought that's a great premise, but unfortunately,
it sounds interesting. I was going to say, did I miss this?
Check it out. You might actually like it. I found it on Peacock, like I said. And I wanted to like it more. Look, Willem Dafoe. Perfect. But count the amount of times that Willem Dafoe isn't. He nails damn near every movie he's in. I wanted to like this more. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie, but I can't recommend it. I give it a C+. And most of that is on the back of the performance of Willem Dafoe. Yeah. There were a lot of things, though, that he did or he didn't do. And I'm like, well, that's a dummy plot. If you've got all these big-ass glass windows and you're going with a big old thing to chisel doors open and you can't think to get into the wedge
break
and
open
chisel.
a window.
Yeah, even if it's bulletproof, go to the side and try to get around it. Eventually, you might end up breaking it.
Yeah, even if you can't break the window, you can pop out the actual frame of the window.
Yeah, and he figured that with the doors, but not the windows itself, which would have at least got him access to another part of the place where maybe he could have contacted somebody in another apartment. I give it a C plus. Check it out if you want. I just couldn't go any higher than that.
It sounds like a more adult version of Home Alone, honestly.
Well, he's not fighting anybody, but except for loneliness. So you got that. The next up, man, I'm good for a good kung fu film. I really am, and this one is good. It's called The Furies. It was released to Netflix. It's I think it's Philippines, because at first I thought I heard some Thai in there, but then I think I heard some Tagalog. So I forget what
Tagalog, but
where
yeah,
it's from. Tagalog. Okay, it's one of those I've never heard anybody say. So Tagalog. All right, I mispronounced so many different things. Anyway, it's a girls' revenge movie. They're stopping crime where they can find it. You know, they're basically street level crime fighters. There are some twists and turns. It's very bloody. It's a lot of fun. The fighting, the women are fast, and they've got knives, and that's how they get around the fact that they're fighting guys that would just one punch them. I don't know if you noticed, but Filipino women are not exactly the biggest women on the face of the planet. Yeah,
they are the petite Asian woman stereotype.
Yeah, it's a fun film. It's got some good karate scenes. Well, not karate, but you get what I'm saying. It's got some good martial arts scenes, I should say. This does not elevate beyond what it is. I don't think it wanted to, but there you go. I give it a B minus. That's the lowest I go while still recommending stuff. I think there's a good time to be had on this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you didn't see it.
No, I might have gotten an ad for it once when I was watching something else on Netflix, but I don't know.
I'm going to let you go off a little bit here, and because you and I differ on this one, so tell me why you didn't like Dungeons and Dragons.
Here's the thing. I get that they were trying to basically do medieval fantasy Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very obvious that that's where they were going with it. And that's fine and all. But here's the difference between Guardians and Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm going to call it the Big Bang Theory effect. When Guardians did it, it seemed like they were in on the joke. They were trying to make they were trying to take the superhero genre and turn it up to an 11. Dungeons and Dragons, though, seems like it kind of hates the fan base of Dungeons and Dragons and finds the entire concept of Dungeons and Dragons to be silly. I kind of wanted a more serious, more epic fantasy take on Dungeons and Dragons. What I got was a parody movie version of that, except without the more serious movie to presage it. And it's a trend I've noticed in a lot of movies recently, where they will give the keys to a given IP or a given franchise to someone who wants to parody it, and rather than modulate their parody concept because they're in the actual IP, they'll just continue along with the parody, except it's in the IP, so it's kind of belittling. Okay. And that's where I'm at with Dungeons and Dragons.
What would you give this movie?
I would give it a C plus, maybe, because there are character arcs in it. It's not all belittling jokes, but about the third or fourth time the more serious version of the scene was interrupted by a joke that came out of nowhere, I was just like, okay, skip to the end.
It's Marvel's Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Well, it's not even Marvel's Dungeons and Dragons. It's the kind of movie that the critics see when they complain about Marvel movies, basically.
Okay.
It's treating every Marvel movie like every Marvel movie is Thor: Love and Thunder. If you take,
I've seen this twice now. Once by myself, once with Gail, and she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it both times. This is one of those cases where it's like I just so happen to be luckier than you are when it comes time with the movies. You know, that's how I feel. If I watch a movie you don't like, I'm luckier than you. If you watch a movie that I didn't like, you're luckier than I am. I found this movie to be charming. It was fun. And yeah, I get it. It's Dungeons and Dragons for normies, basically. That's what we're getting here. And but it just worked for me. Chris Pine, he's dreamy. Let's go with that. I'm also
he's discount Star-Lord, so
might as well. Anytime you put Michelle Rodriguez in there, she's going to be the toughest person. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of hot in this one. I don't know what that says about me, but there you go. And of course, this was the other film where I'm watching. I'm like, Hugh Grant he's kicking ass this year, man.
He was the one paladin dude, right?
No, Hugh Grant's the bad guy.
Oh, right. He was the evil wizard there. Yeah.
No, he's the thief that has Hugh Grant's the old English guy.
Oh, okay.
That ends up kidnapping the daughter and all that kind of stuff.
It's been a while since I saw the movie. I've only seen it the one time, folks.
You should know who Hugh Grant is. He's this guy. He's the old guy. But they're just a lot of fun. Everybody knows the kind of movie they're doing. And I will give you this. I loved the Wizard Duel with the hands, the different things they were doing with it. I liked what they did with the magic stuff. It's scene magic. And so I kind of dug that. So good stuff. For me, you give it a C+, I give it a B+, and that's where we stand with this one. Moving on, we're going to get to another movie I know you haven't seen. It's on Netflix right now, and it's called Kill Baksoon. The woman up here that you see, there is a rule that this is an assassination guild, kind of John Wick style, and they follow rules. One of the rules is you never kill kids. Well, the bad guy, which is the dude in glasses, he gives her an assignment, and the guy looks an adult, but he's actually under 18. So he gets her to kill this kid, and now the entire Assassin's Guild is after her. So it really is like Kung Fu John Wick. Well, John Wick is Kung Fu John Wick, but it's really just Asian John Wick right here with a female instead of a male and such, and she's just going off trying to defend herself. There is a brilliant fight scene in a deli where she's beating the shit out of people with deli meats and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun. And that, once again, fun is the word of the day. I like the idea of a good, fun, no pretension, just put it up there, action film. That's what we got with this. I think that's what we got with John Wick as well. But this movie is the appropriate running time, unlike John Wick. That being said, I did like John Wick a bit better. This one, I gave a B- too instead of an A+. I think it's fine. I can recommend it, but B- once again is the lowest I go while still recommending it. Next up, I'm sorry to do this to you again, but it's another movie I don't think you've seen. It's called Malum. I watched this movie because of that movie poster. That movie poster looks awesome to me. I don't know why, but
what is it?
Okay, so the movie starts off and everybody's celebrating this captain. It takes place in a police precinct, and everybody's celebrating the captain. And then for some reason, the captain just goes off and shoots people. Doesn't matter if they're criminal or cop, starts blowing the heads off people. His daughter, 10 years later, gets a job as a cop, wants to clear the name, and it's the last day of the precinct. She's taken the shift to guard the empty precinct. At the same time, there's riots in the street because this cult leader, he got his people all up in arms, and they're out rioting in the streets. And she's going about trying to keep the precinct safe, as well as seeing things all over the place. Apparently there is a demon, which is what caused her father to go nuts. There was a demon in the thing. So it's this whole supernatural kind of movie taking place in an empty police station that this girl has to figure out how to get out of. And it actually worked. It's an effective horror film. I was pleasantly surprised by this one. Gave it a B. I do recommend it. Where it's streaming, yo ho, yo ho. Yeah, but that's where I saw it. I was just looking and I saw the poster. I was like, let's give this, because once again Gail goes, she always do, I want to watch a Scally movie. And okay, there we go. That's how she says it too.
Scally. Gail is an adrenaline junkie for horror movies.
Oh, she loves horror movies. She loves slashers, but supernatural. This is her game right here. That scares her more than anything. I've figured you're afraid that God's mad at you. That's basically why you like this. But there you go. Next up, film. Goodness, what to say about this one? I can't recommend it. I like the first one, but Murder Mystery 2. It was perfectly serviceable. It was absolutely a-okay. This was, as you said yesterday, aggressively. This time it takes place in England and takes place in France, and I can't remember a goddamn thing about it, dude. I honestly am having a hard time right now thinking of anything to say about this, because I didn't write notes. We're off the cuff here. And in all honesty, do you know what I remember? They're on the beach, and then what's his name from Kingsman comes in, insults them. They have a couple of heists, a couple of double crosses and so forth. I enjoyed it while I watched it, but completely freaking forgot about it.
So what I'm hearing from you is this is the kind of movie that if it came out 20 years ago would have been a direct-to-video movie, and you would have found it in like Blockbuster Video or something like that.
20 years ago, The Sandman was at the height of his powers. It would have been on screen. It would have made a $200 million movie. But it would have been one of those like Waterboy, where I would look at it and go, why did that make over $100 million? I do not know. Why is that the one that's the hit? It's on Netflix. See it if you want. I gave it a C+. That's as far as I could go with it. I'm assuming you didn't see it.
I did not. It looked like a bland B movie, and I am once more reaffirmed in my faith of my ability to guess these things.
There you go. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me and Dalton as we talk about the month of March 2023, the movies we liked, the movies we disliked. And there you go. Join us. We're going to be having April out in a little bit, and so keep an eye out for that. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers, guys.